So before you guys proceed with this vlog, I just wanted to say that it was quite it was painful to edit it, but also it was very peaceful at the same time. It's a weird emotion to explain, but I just want to say thank you to all the friends and family members who have been there, from supporting my family in the GoFundMe page, just spreading the word and just sharing her thoughtful memories. And I know that's what she would have wanted. Basically, having a funeral during a quarantine was very interesting. I just found that the time and place of how it took in a quarantine, I don't know, it was bittersweet. Like me and my family had time to grieve on ourselves, but also spread out the word in a way that we could. And this is one way to do it, is posting it on YouTube, and hopefully it's okay to do so. I don't think I've ever seen a video, or I've never searched of a service like this, where I can just broadcast things online, and hopefully it's okay. But I just wanted to formally say thank you to everybody who has been reaching out, and it's a constant battle with everyone. Everyone's losing somebody, and then the next day somebody is being born. So this is the part of life that we need to touch up on, not just the good times, but also the downfall times that you regain strength from. So I just want you guys to have an open mind if you guys do continue to watch this vlog, but it is a vlog that I will treasure, and I know my family will treasure in all of our hearts. And I just want to say that there is a tomorrow, there is another day, and we just have to be better. Still at my parents' house, and I was questioning a lot on whether or not to post this type of vlog, but I just wanted to let you guys know, like, I'm not posting it because I want views. I'm not posting it because I want attention or anything like that. I'm just basically doing it for family and friends who couldn't come to my mother's funeral because of the COVID and the pandemic, with a lot of restrictions and stuff like that. I just wanted to, I wanted to share this ceremony with close friends and family who couldn't be there due to the COVID. And hopefully I edited it in a way where it was very respectful, and I know a lot of friends and family are going to be grateful that I did this. And I know in the future, I'm like a grandma, I love watching old videos and just looking back on it. So hopefully, if you guys proceeded till the end, thank you. And I totally understand it if some people kind of felt uneasy about it. You don't have to watch it, obviously. You don't have to watch anything, this whole video, but just know that I'm doing this because it happened at such a weird time, and I just wanted to share what me and my family and how we celebrated my mom's life. So hopefully you guys can respect that and understand why I vlogged. But yeah, the more I come into terms with it too, and the more I talk to my friends about it and just kind of see it, I believe it more. I obviously know that unfortunately my mom is gone, but at the same time I still think, I don't know how to explain it, but in my head I still think she's probably just gone out fishing for a little bit, or she's just gonna be on a long vacation and someday I'll see her again. But yeah, I have to say, I'm handling it pretty well. It's just there are days where when you're by yourself and you just can't help but be stuck with your thoughts, especially during this time, during quarantine. It's just a little bit harder. I think moving forward, just getting a new routine of things. And when Sasha would ask oh, I want to go to Yeye's, which Yeye means grandma, it hits a little bit different now. Or if I had a pants that had a hole in it, I would be oh, my mom can do it, but that hits a little bit different now. So it's just, I'm gonna be staying, I've stayed in Hamilton for a good couple weeks just to kind of get used to this whole thing. So hopefully once I do go back to Toronto, which I have, if you guys are watching this vlog, just know that like me and my family are doing fine. It's just we mourn differently. Like some of us, we are very vocal about it. Some of us are very private about it. But this is just my way of mourning, and I have asked my family if it's okay to post this on YouTube, and they're fine with it. But hopefully, again, like I'm being repetitive, but hopefully the way I edited it was very respectful to everybody. And I just wanted to give more information for those who are curious about like how did you guys do it during this time, and like what were the restrictions. I'm just waiting for my dad. She's so cute.
Sasha's smiling.
I know.
Oh, did you sanitize your hands?
Don't move that.
Do it again.
We have to practice social distancing, but it doesn't say that we can't. This is where we sign. So I'm pretty sure I'll explain in the beginning what's going on. Everybody's here.
Honestly, I thought she was gonna, Good, eh? Her outfit.
Outfit that my sister chose. I'm just showing the waist down. This is one of the rings that she would always wear. Got the photos of all my family there. Just missing Sasha and David. We got flowers here, wreath. And then that's like her favorite photo. And then I actually got these earrings for her for Mother's Day, and yeah, it's on her that she's wearing it.
Oh, was the picture too
My
big for the wreath?
My sister ordered this huge bouquet. And this is awesome.
Handle it.
Hopefully you guys are okay seeing this, but I know my family would really appreciate seeing these footages for sure. And then during service, just because of the whole pandemic and all that, we have the chairs kind of like set out this way. And there's Sasha sitting. And Trix is here too. So. This is all the seating area. How are you feeling though? That's okay. Mom loved him. And there's that. Yeah, so basically the jewelry that you guys see there, those earrings, my mom loved them and she got me to wear it for a while, so now I'm going to keep those. And then the necklace, I'm keeping this style. I think it's like an anchor style almost. And then here's everything there. And then again, the layout. They did do a COVID testing and she was not tested positive for it, so that was a given. But I'm actually really surprised on how I'm handling this. Probably when I get home, I'll be bawling my butt off. But right now, me and Diego were just kind of like, you know, We're just accepting it as is. Hey, social distancing, man. Get out of our way. Oh, look at Sasha. Guys, look at Sasha's outfit. Sasha, can you show them your outfit? Wow. Got boots, pantyhose, and then look at her hat.
Sasha, can I take a picture of you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Put on your hat.
No computer that I can hook up to the TV, so I gotta do it this way for now. Yeah. I'm gonna do it like this for now. And then my pastor has this videotape, and there's a little critter over there. There's a little. Man, I was this close to breaking down when I saw my nephew break down. We can get everything, which is good. So then hopefully once all this COVID is done, we can make a proper church service for my mom. I don't know why there's a paper clip randomly here. I'm just gonna put that here.
Fill this room with hope and with a sense of your presence. And I pray that today you will be with the family, that you will watch over them and take care of us. And just remember the wonderful memory of our sister, the mother, wife, who has passed away. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. A video from our church. Some members in our church, they put together this video in memory of long gone.
Yeah, this song is dedicated to Norn. She was passed away on April the 20th. She was a member of our church family, and we will surely miss her.
Come and share memories of their mother or grandmother.
Nơi phúm liang cháy mày khôm bồ mà riết sắp cô bị sấy khai cầm bông spư sắp vài quát miên bóng ốn trong ớt sả rốc cũng tờ nè hay quát chia câu tí pi quát chia câu tí pi nên năm chất sắp bóng buồn cao dương mình ăn miên bê khởi lại về nhì bán dương còn này chỉ thật trăm chất bóng buồn lúc quát nó không con của ma con của ma hay có quát tỷ lệ có rút tạm cái tạm ai nhiều máu tạm trong chân tới từ tạm một thái thì có từ nước quát lại từ khi từ pen làm vậy ở thế có thế lẹ thì lực nóng bạc chân nó hay kia có say quát vô quát lòng cắt từ thái từ nơi trở lại pet mùi nơi chăn mùi ពេលនោះហើយដែលគាត់លឺសូរដំណឹងល្អបានទទួលដំណឹងល្អហើយពេទ្យក៏ធ្វើការវះកាត់ឆ្អឹងខ្នងពេលនោះហើយក៏ដាក់បន្តដល់ឆ្អឹងជំនីឆ្អឹងខ្នងគាត់បាក់ហើយតដល់ឆ្អឹងជំនីគាត់ទទួលដំណឹងល្អពេលនោះហើយគេក៏ស្រោបតែស្រោបអត់មានដើររួចទេក្នុងមួយឆ្នាំក៏ដើររួចទេក្រោយមកក៏ធ្វើការវះកាត់ណាហើយមួយឆ្នាំបានគេទៅលេខដកអាផ្លាកនេះចេញពេលដកផ្លាកចេញនឹងគ្រូគឺខាងអតិថានច្រើនឲ្យគាត់បានដើររួចនៅពេលហើយពេលគាត់ដើររួចគេក៏ប្រជុំគាត់នៅជំរំកម្ពុជាក្នុងឆ្នាំ80 81នៅកម្ពុជាក្រោមហើយក៏គាត់ក្នុង81គាត់ទទួលបន់ជាមួយទឹកនេះគ្រូពេលឆ្នាំ81នោះទីបញ្ចប់គឺគាត់បាននៅក្នុងជំរំនោះក្នុង81 82ជំរំទៅដោទៅនៅជំរំមួយទៀតគឺនៅបានដោយសារអង្គការសហជីវជាតិ UNHCR ក៏ដឹកគាត់បន្តមកក្នុងឆ្នាំ82ទៅ84ហ្នឹង82សប្តាហ៍គេដឹកបន្តទៀតមកនៅជំរំខាវដានពេលនៅជំរំខាវដានជំរំធំពេលនោះហើយតែគាត់ធ្វើជាគ្រូកុមារគាត់ជាអ្នកចម្រៀងក្នុងវិហារហើយនឹងដើរសាកសួរសុខទុក្ខតាមមន្ទីរពេទ្យគាត់នៅទីរហូតមកនៅឆ្នាំ85ឆ្នាំ85រួមខ្ញុំនេះជាប្តីបានរត់ចេញពីស្រុកខ្មែរហើយបានមកជួបគាត់នៅក្នុងសង្កាត់21ហើយពួកយើងគាត់តែងតែនាំខ្ញុំទៅផ្សាយដំណឹងល្អនៅមន្ទីរពេទ្យឃើញចាស់ដែលជិតស្លាប់គាត់តែខំយកពលិកគេថ្វាយព្រះក្នុងការដំណឹងល្អបន្ទាប់ពីនោះមកគាត់ក៏យើងមិនអាចនឹងមានពេលវេលាបានល្បាត់ទេគាត់ក៏យើងអស់គ្នានៅក្នុងក្រោយទៅទៀតក្នុង86នោះកើតបានកូនស្រីគឺសុខៈនេះឯងហើយដល់ក្រោយទៅទៀតមកគាត់ទៅនៅឈុនដោយសារខ្លួនខ្ញុំគ្មានរបបឯនោះគាត់ទៅនៅឈុនបុរីនៅជំនីខ្ញុំនៅខៅដាំនៅឡើយទេបាទនោះហើយគាត់ទៅនៅឈុនតឯងជាមួយនឹងកូននឹងឯងទៅបំរើក្រុមជំនុំនៅទីនោះទៀតក្រោយដែលបន្តពីនោះក្នុងឆ្នាំតែជា88នេះខ្ញុំសុំឲ្យគាត់ត្រឡប់នឹងកូនមកជួបខ្ញុំវិញអរគុណព្រះអង្គបានជួបគ្នាក្រោយដែលជួបគ្នាហើយបានយើងចេញមកកាណាដាឆ្នាំ86ខ្លួនប្រាំគាត់តែងតែឈឺមកដល់នោះទៅជាផងគាត់ឈឺដោយសារគាត់បាក់ឆ្អឹងខ្នងយើងឈឺជាប់ប៉ុន្តែមិននៅហូលគេបាច់ហ្នឹងគឺគាត់ឈឺខ្លាំងណាស់ឈឺទៅជាតកកច្រើនគាត់ដើរអត់រួចឈឺខ្លាំងមែនទែនឆ្នាំ97ប៉ុន្តែពេលនោះគាត់ជិះរៀលខែហើយតែចេះក៏ឃើញនៅពេលនោះគឺគាត់អត់មានដើររួចទេគាត់ជិះរៀលខែជិះអាកង់ហ្នឹងហើយរុញចុះរុញឡើងហ្នឹងអត់មានអីទេហើយកូននៅតូចណាស់ពេលនោះហើយដែលយើង97បណ្ដាពេលទៅទៀតថាគាត់ស្លាប់ព្រោះគាត់ឈឺរោគអាត្រៃជីនខ្លាំងណាស់អត់អាចដើរបានជីតតកអផ្សេងក៏ទៅជាក៏សម្រាប់ចិត្តមូមកនៅហាមតុននៅឆ្នាំ99នេះ99យើងត្រឡប់មកនៅហាមតុនវិញនៅហេតុអីគឺយើងមកហាមតុនដោយសារតែគាត់ចេះច្រៀងហើយយើងចង់ឲ្យបានតិចបានក្តៅបន្តិចព្រោះហាមតុនក្រាន់បើជាងនៅអត់រវ៉ាណាហូលគាត់មកនេះគឺដើម្បីច្រៀងហើយទុកសម្លេងនឹងផ្សាយចំណងល្អដែលយើងសម្រាប់ចិត្តមកនេះដល់បោមកនៅហ្នឹងទៅក៏ធាតុអាកាសឲ្យបានតែជួយឲ្យប្រគុណព្រះអង្គម្ចាស់ក៏គាត់បានដើរមកវិញគាត់បានដើររួចមកវិញបានដើរមករួចហើយគាត់ក៏ធ្វើការនឹងផ្សាយចំណងឲ្យទៅប៉ុន្តែនៅពេលនោះគាត់ អាការរបស់គាត់ចេះតែឈឺផ្លែហើយចេះតែថែមទៅហើយព្រោះរោគនឹងរោគដូចទៅចាំគាត់ឬដូចចឹងណាអញ្ចឹងគាត់ឈឺខ្លាំងហើយដល់ពេលខ្លាំងមែនតើខ្ញុំដឹងដែរឆ្នាំ2015 16គាត់បានទៅលេងស្រុកខ្មែរគាត់បានទៅលេងស្រុកខ្មែរម្ដងបានទៅជួបបងប្អូនឲ្យគាត់ទាំងអស់ដែរពួកខ្ញុំដឹងថាពេលត្រឡប់ពីពេទ្យមកវិញពេទ្យនឹងគេនឹងចាក់ឆ្នាំមួយទៀតហើយយូមេរ៉ាឆ្នាំនេះថ្លៃហើយឆ្នាំនេះអាចមានកម្លាំងបានប៉ុន្តែអាចនឹងគ្រោះថ្នាក់បានគាត់ចាំឆ្នាំហ្នឹងឆ្នាំនេះថ្លៃពីអាទិត្យចាក់ម្ដងតែមួយជុលគឺ7,000ដុល្លារហើយរាប់ជួលទាំងអស់ប៉ុន្តែក្នុងមួយខែចាក់2ដងឆ្នាំនេះគាត់អាចដើរបានគាត់អាចទៅទាំងអស់ល្អប៉ុន្តែអាចនឹងប៉ះពាល់ទៅក្នុងខ្លួនដល់ពេលនោះហើយដល់ឆ្នាំ2018គាត់ឆ្នាំហ្នឹងទៅហើយដែលគាត់ធ្វើអាប៉ិតគាត់ទៅជារលាកទៅទឹកនឹងទឹកចូលសួតទៅព្រោះមើលslash ហ្នឹងរហូតដល់កំពង់កគឺមើលទៅ slash ដល់ក៏អត់មានឃើញកន្លែងទេអញ្ចឹងបានគាត់ចូលទៅព្យាបាលក្នុងគេដាក់ life support គេបូមទាំងអស់ចេញធម្មតាមនុស្សកាលណាស្រុកតែទៅមួយយប់ពីរយប់ទេទៅមួយយប់ពីរយប់ច្រើនតែស្លាប់ប៉ុន្តែគាត់ទៅនៅនោះទៅនៅទីនោះ3អាទិត្យគាត់បានរស់ឡើងវិញប៉ុន្តែគេត្រូវប្រើម៉ាស៊ីនមួយទៀតឲ្យគាត់ហៅថា sit up ម៉ាស៊ីនឲ្យគាត់សម្រាកឲ្យដេកគឺគាត់អត់មានម៉ាស៊ីននឹងអត់បានដល់បានម៉ាស៊ីននឹងហើយបានយូរបានបន្តិចដល់ឆ្នាំ2019នេះគាត់ត្រូវការដោយសារសួតរបស់គាត់ការតអន់ទៅហើយគេក៏ថាត្រូវតែប្រើថែមអុកស៊ីហ្សែនទៀតតែប្រើនេះដូចជាគាត់រស់នៅដោយអុកស៊ីហ្សែនផងដោយម៉ាស៊ីនដែលដាក់ស្រាក់ឲ្យដេកលុកផងតែជាបាយផាប់ម៉ាស៊ីននឹងហើយតែមានម៉ាស់ដាក់នោះដាក់ឲ្យវាពួកកាលណាមិនដាក់ម៉ាស៊ីននេះពួកគាត់វាទៅបបាក់ក្នុងការរស់តែចុងក្រោយនេះគឺបបាក់ក្នុងការដកដង្ហើមអញ្ចឹងហើយបានប៉ុន្តែក្នុងរបស់គាត់មិនបានស្លុតនៅក្នុងការអីទាំងអស់ទេគឺពេលគាត់ឈឺទៅដល់គាត់នៅតែអានកាពីពេលអត់ដេកអានកាពីអធិដ្ឋានស្ដាប់មើល TV ពីJohn Mayer ឬមើលពីក៏ដែលផ្សេងដែលចែកអត្ថបទឲ្យពិសេសយប់គឺមក2យប់មក3យប់ទៅគាត់តែងតែអានកាពីឲ្យអធិដ្ឋានជានិច្ចអរគុណព្រះអង្គពីព្រោះគាត់យល់ច្បាស់ហើយគាត់ដឹងច្បាស់ណាស់ថាគាត់នឹងទៅជាមួយព្រះអង្គព្រោះគាត់អត់មាននេះទេហើយពេលក្រោយមកទៀតចុងក្រោយចុងក្រោយប្រហែលមុនស្លាប់ថ្ងៃ20ហ្នឹងគាត់ស្លាប់ថ្ងៃ20ថ្ងៃ20 2020ហ្នឹងម៉ោង7យប់ហ្នឹងប៉ុន្តែមុនទៅពេទ្យហ្នឹងគឺគាត់និយាយឯងទៅហើយគាត់ថាព្រះអង្គយកកូនទៅតែប៉ុណ្ណឹងគាត់មិនដែលថាទេក្នុងការទីថាអត់មិនដែលថាព្រះអង្គឲ្យយកកូនទៅក្នុងវិស័យសាច់ឈាមគាត់តែនៅចង់នៅជាមួយកូននៅជាមួយចៅនៅជាមួយប្តីអញ្ចឹងតែឆ្នេះគាត់តស៊ូណាស់ក្នុងការនេះប៉ុន្តែអរគុណព្រះអង្គមែនទែនគឺគាត់ដឹងច្បាស់គាត់ដឹងថាដឹងច្បាស់តែព្រះអង្គមិនហើយព្រះអង្គនឹងយកគាត់ទៅហើយគាត់រស់ឡើងវិញគាត់មិនได้ស្លាប់ទេគាត់រស់ឡើងវិញគាត់ថាស្លាប់នៅខាងសាច់ឈាមប៉ុន្តែព្រលឹងវិញ្ញាណគាត់បានរស់ឡើងវិញពួកគាត់គឺរស់ឡើងវិញហើយពេលគាត់ស្លាប់ទៀតគឺចំរដូវដែល Easter ទៀតណាចំដូច្នេះគឺមែនគឺគាត់មួយជីវិតគាត់គឺគាត់ដែលសម្រាប់ដំណឹងល្អហើយគាត់ដឹងតែច្បាស់ថាគាត់បានទទួលសេចក្តីរស់ឡើងវិញដែរហើយអរគុណព្រះអង្គគាត់បើនិយាយពីប្តីប្រពន្ធវិញហើយកូនវិញគាត់ជាមួយបង្ហាត់កូនតាមទូចគាត់បង្ហាត់កូនឲ្យចេះច្រៀងគាត់បង្រៀនគម្ពីរទុកមិនគាត់ឈឺដល់រហូតដល់គាត់បង្រៀនគម្ពីរគាត់ហើយគាត់ចេះតែសង្ឃឹមថាយកចៅទៅថ្វាយខ្លួនហើយនឹងយកនោះអាចៅចេះតែនិយាយទៅយកថាថ្ងៃអាទិត្យយកតោទៅវាចឹងឯងអរគុណព្រះអង្គមែនទែននេះជាការមួយដែលសរុបមកខ្លីថាគឺជីវិតគាត់ហើយខ្ញុំនិយាយថាលោកអ្នកគាត់ស្មោះត្រង់គាត់ស្មោះត្រង់គាត់មិនចង់បានអីទាំងអស់គាត់ស្មោះត្រង់មែនទែនខុសពីគេទៀតគាត់ត្រង់ លួយកាក់ឬស្អីស្អីគាត់យើងឲ្យទៅចឹងគាត់ត្រង់តែអស់ឲ្យស្អីក៏គាត់ខ្ញុំតែនិយាយថាគាត់ត្រង់ជាងខ្លួនខ្ញុំត្រង់ទៅទៀតខ្ញុំមានផលខ្លួនខ្ញុំប៉ុន្តែគាត់អត់ទេគឺសុំទៅផលតិចក៏គាត់អរគុណព្រះអង្គមែនតើនេះគេប្រហែលតែនិយាយយកទៅប៉ុណ្ណឹងឯងឲ្យខ្ញុំបញ្ចប់អរគុណព្រះអង្គ
My name is Silka. I'm the eldest daughter of Norn. I want to read an open letter for her. Mom, you've raised the first 2 years of my life by yourself. You endured hardship, but through it all, you always managed to pull through. When I became a young mother myself, I've realized how much love, sacrifices, and dedication you put in raising us, your children. The love you gave us is incomparable. You've taught us to be sympathetic, giving, taught us your morals to be overall rounded good people. Staying positive was key to every situation that life throws us, and always making sure to have a smile on our faces. You are the rock to our family and our world. Thank you for being the best grandma for Diego and Sasha. The memories you've shared with them will always be cherished. They will always be reminded how blessed they were to have you in their lives. You'll always be remembered as the fun, loving, creative, and strong grandma. Mom, you were and will always be a woman in Christ. The last few days of your life, through your pain, you still managed to grab your Bible and pray and read his scriptures. Before you went to bed, you would listen to the gospel songs we've recorded as a family. When we were kids, you loved us so much. I wish I could have done more for you. If I could take those days back to visit you more often, spend your last hours to hold you longer, and share all those memories you've made with us. To tell you how thankful we are to have such a loving, supportive mom. We've had so many plans ahead, but God decided that you were needed in heaven. I have big shoes to fill, but I will do my very best to live by your example and keep your legacy alive. I love you. Thank you.
For as long as I remember, our Mommy for short, was the person I feared the most. But ironically, as a child, she protected me from strangers that I was afraid of as well. I don't remember much from my childhood and my relationship with her, except the tough love that was received. And no, I'm not talking about the pot of gold chocolates that we would get every single Christmas. But jokes aside, I'm sure my siblings and my father can relate to what I meant from that. Me always found ways to be crafty. To name a few, she used a coat hanger as a closet knob. She combined pots and pans onto a string to scare off pigeons on the balcony. And her latest project was sewing reusable masks with my sister out of old clothes. It was transparent that we did not come from wealth, but our mother always said, I'd rather have a full heart and an empty wallet than the opposite. I remember walking down the street after a doctor's appointment with her, and I turned back wondering, why was she taking so long? When I did see her, she was giving change to a guy who was sitting on the curb and told me that everything in life is short, but he shouldn't be short of hope. The main thing that I will carry on, that she has taught me, was to always be understanding and acknowledge love over hate in any situation. This could mean that instead of thinking to yourself, what motivated someone to cause this discomfort, into what are they going through internally, that was just the kind of person she was overall, just purely kind. When I moved away to a different city and she'd ask me to come visit, it was always the same routine. I'd come into the door and she'd yell out, "Ha!" or "Hey!" She would do that every single time, and it felt like the first time, each time, and I loved that. The routine continued with her sitting on her chair, watching her Gospels, or her favorite YouTuber doing some fishing, or random cat compilations while spinning her chair back to stare at me from time to time, and then smile and then continue on. In my head, I was questioning, what was the point of me coming? We were literally just sitting with no conversation. But eventually the silence started to make sense, especially the times where I'd bring her fishing for hours. I'd again sit behind her and watch her patiently wait for that fish capturing moment. By then I knew just spending time and being of company with her was more than enough. Moving forward, I want to make her proud by always spreading her wisdom. I remember she told me that if she were ever gone, to be supportive, be a listener, and care for my father, my siblings, and overall the whole family. No one ever wants to think of their parents being gone, but she has prepped us emotionally and mentally for this in a way, and that this is part of life. I could list many things I've regretted or wish I could have done with her when she was here, but I came to accept that we can still do those things. Mother's Day without her physically being here can still be of celebration, and her birthday can still be an honor. Future events, whether it be of mine or my family's, can still be as enjoyable as if she is still in the same room, laughing hysterically at her own jokes. Her tradition will continue, and it comforts me that she is watching, and we will continue to live in the present. After each phone call or visit, our way of verbally saying goodbye was always saying, "I love you, God bless you." If I could tell her again, I just want her to know that you have blessed us in so many ways. There's nothing you should be apologizing for. You kept saying your sickness was a weakness, but really that was a strength we saw in our eyes. Don't be sorry and lower yourself as a person, because your conditions, what reality is. Instead of being sorry, we all thank you for just solely being our mom, and you will always be. I love you, we love you, and God has blessed you. Thank you, Papa.
I'm Mom's son-in-law. Me, Mommy, never in my life I would think to love someone else's mom. That day changed once I got to know her. When I was first introduced as Pat's boyfriend, I was worried that she wouldn't like me. Spending time observing her with Diego, you can see that she's full of smiles and laughter. She was a joy to watch and to be around. We would share funny stories and laugh. We would have serious discussions and have heartfelt moments. I know that the family didn't have much, but knowing her, she was willing to help out anyone and give her all. I've never seen anyone stronger than her. She's been through a lot that I've seen, and hear her stories about her struggles in the past. She's such a strong and incredible lady. She taught me strength, patience, and love. I'm trying to stay strong for my wife and kids. My kids love their grandma, and it's too hard to see her gone so soon. But she can now rest in peace and be in heaven. I love you, me. You will be forever in our hearts. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Diego, and I'm her grandson. This is an open letter that I will be reading from my book. I will always miss you. I will always miss you for many things, such as your laugh, your kindness, and your cooking, like your mac and cheese, and your noodles, and your cariness for everyone, and you being playful and silly. And we will always miss you for being you. And you were always good at fishing. You taught me how to fish and catch my first fish. And even though my little sister may not remember you as much, I will always make sure she remembers you. Remembers how you were, and how funny you were, and how playful you were with her. We will always remember you. We love you, yay.
Just say that, I love you guys, and I wrote this message, and then afterwards I opened up Facebook, and the way I open up this message is almost identical to something that Soappat wrote on Facebook. So I think what I'm going to say here is right, that Bong Non, she was a fighter, and I think everybody knows that. 25 years ago, when her body was in pain and her children were young, and she was in a wheelchair, she could have just given up. People would have understood. She could have just said, life's been unfair to me. God's given me this body, and I'm going to feel sorry for myself. But she didn't. She did the opposite of that. And I think everybody saw that, and everybody knows that. And it's something that you are proud of her for that. And even though every day, just getting up out of bed was a painful experience, she got up anyways. And even if breathing was difficult, she made up her mind. It's like she said to herself, pain's not going to bring me down. Life's difficulties are not going to stop me. I am going to go on. And so she got up every day. She decided to be cheerful. She decided she was going to be happy. She decided she was going to smile. She was going to be active, raise a family, love them to pieces, go fishing. And every Sunday, pain or no pain, as hard as it was, she was always in church. And she was like a rock. She was always in church, a smile on her face, friendly and ready. And I love her for that. Several years ago, Bong Non had pneumonia, and she was in the hospital and in ICU, and my wife and I, we went in to see her. And we saw her there. She was lying in the bed, and she was wearing a ventilator. And I gripped my wife's hand, and I said, let's pray. And I prayed, Father in heaven, your daughter is sick. And it seems that there's not much even the doctors can do. Our only hope is in you. And I pray that you extend your hand of healing, mercy upon your daughter who is saved, who has served you faithfully here in Hamilton. And you grant her healing. And as I was praying, I was watching her, and her feet started moving. And I whispered to my wife, it's like she can hear us. And I found out later that she could. And I don't think it was me, but I think it was definitely God that He healed her. And, within days, she went back home again. And God granted her several more years. And I thank God for that. And, I have fought the good fight. Bong Non was a fighter. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. And I think that was the secret to her life, was her faith. It's what made her unmovable and staunch, solid, like a rock in a storm, even when life was difficult, even when her body was in pain. She was a rock that could not be moved. It was her faith. And every night before sleeping, listening to songs like I Will Rise Again and other songs. Her faith was what motivated her. Her faith was what made her strong. Her faith was what showed her that there was more to life than just her body, and she would not let her body be her master. Instead, she would hear the voice of Jesus, and it was her hope that someday she would rise again, and she would hear the voice of Jesus giving her a new body that will never live in pain. So I look out at all of you today, and I love what I'm seeing. Bong Non was so proud of her family. She was so proud of all of you. When she took pictures with you, her face came alive. She had expressions that brightened up that she didn't have anywhere else. But when she was with all of you, you could see it on her face. She loved you guys. And, I think Bhupal, he was like her knight in shining armor. I mean, she always stood with him and she loved him. And he was a wonderful husband to her. And I think like Bong Non, she had an awesome singing voice. And she could have used that voice to gain popularity and friends and be well known all over Cambodia, all over the United States, all over France. And many people do know her, but that wasn't her passion. She had two passions in life. One, God, and the second one, family. And when I look out and see all of you, and I see the love that you have for each other, and the respect that you have for each other, I see Bong Non in you. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Henceforth is laid up for me a crown righteousness. You know, this crown of righteousness is a reward. It's something that she worked for. It's something that God has given to her. You know, and I think that when God, you know, when I look out at all of you, I would say to Norn Ngim, wow, that's awesome. That's wonderful. And I think she's now in God's presence. And he's saying to her, well done. It's good. Awesome. Come and rest for a little while. And then I will call you to rise again because you are my daughter. And you will live again. That's what she lived for. And that's the reward that God has given her. And so now, I want to ask you to join with me in prayer. Father in heaven, I just thank you for your love for us. And today I want to ask you to wrap your loving arms around this family and be with them and fill them with hope and fill them with continued love for each other. And let us sense that Norn Ngim may not be here in spirit, but that she is still alive, and that her love and her passion will never end, and that you are with this family. And even though the road is hard and difficult, that life is rewarding and life is good because you give hope. Father, we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
You're going to carry straight forward down the stairs.
The other guys were like huge, tall guys.
Yeah.
So
They're like
they're like professionals.
Mommy's probably thinking, "Wop."
yeah, but like
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
it.
No, we still have to carry it now, like on the grave, right?
Do
We
we?
still have to carry it, right?
I don't think so. Are they coming too?
Let's.
We'll see.
let's
You
ask.
guys will see the bearers, but there's no stairs.
I was actually worried that
What?
David and Dan was gonna drop it because
What about you?
They got
You
shook.
too.
They got shaky. I was ready to go two hands on this side.
I was going two hands.
He's going
just to
two
be
hands.
safe, just to be safe.
Mhm.
I was like, oh man.
Where's mine? Where's mine? Yeah, where's mine? And 10 people at a funeral service. Oh my god.
What?
Zip up your jacket, you're gonna get cold. Oh my gosh. Me, you know, Yay would yell at you right now. So they're just bringing over the flower to the area. We have to practice social distancing, bro. Aw, at least she's easy to find. She's well, oh, she's near a tree. Yeah, I know. But look, she's near a tree. That's nice, so I'm gonna remember that. Sasha, look, we're gonna watch them bring it over, okay? To be honest, I think they're a little worried to carry my mom, jokes aside. Come, come. Let's go, let's go. Come on. Sasha, come, follow me. You just have to put the flower, okay? Do you want to go in front of me? Follow Bong Diego, but not too close, okay? Good job. Yep, keep going. The hospital gave everyone in my family member this fingerprint of my mom. Don't mind my nails, they're really ugly right now. But I just think it's so sweet because, you know, I'm definitely gonna cherish this forever, for as long as I can. But I just think it's so beautiful, you know. So I'm not sure if I showed you guys the little corner I have here for my mom.
Basically, these are some of the photos. Me and her. I look so angry. This was the last Mother's Day card that I gave her last year. The story behind this is that my mom always wanted like a certificate or a degree in something. So I told, like, she just saw, like, you know, being smart was very highly admired, and I just felt like I felt sad for her, but also I wanted to show her that I really don't care that she didn't have any high education. So I got her, sorry, I'm getting like distracted. So I got her basically a card that looked like a certificate. Here, these two are her favorite creams. So once in a while, like if I miss her, like she legit smells like this cream right here. Honestly, like it's still surreal to me that I don't want to, like, obviously she's passed and there are days where it's been harder than others and some days are easier, but I just want to let you guys know, like, if you guys are going through something similar, or if you're going through like a time in your life where it doesn't even have to be a loss of somebody by, you know, death, lack of a better word, but just losing somebody in terms of like broken up or friendship or whatever. I just want you guys to know that everyone is going through some sort of loss, but what we need to focus on is what we gain from it. And for my families, for some of us, it's been hard, where I have to kind of be like that positive reminder, because that's what my mom always praised me about. She always told me that something in my spirit was always positive. And there are days where, you know, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, like I cry while thinking about her. I cry about, like, while talking to her, because that's my way of grieving. But it's honestly put me at peace because I know she is, you know. And like one of the things that I got into a deep thought about, and I know this may sound crazy, but I just want you guys to have an open mind about this. I was talking to my coworker about it as well. This might sound really deep, but for the longest time, just because my father is much older than my mom, they were like 13 years apart, and I always thought that my dad would be the one to go first. Because these are some things that you have to think about when you're growing older. How are you going to take care of them? What are you going to do if they're gone? You know what I mean? So I always, in my head, mentally thought that he would be gone first. So when my mom was gone first, that literally hit all of us as a family really hard. And it made me think not only what I was going through, but what other people were going through, or what people have gone through when they lost their mother. You know what I mean? So it made me really empathetic and thought about other people, like, damn, I was very blessed to have her for all these years. There are people who never even got to meet their moms. There are people who lost their moms like a couple of days before or whatever. So like the fact that my mom went first and that took us by surprise, I took it as, because me and my family, my siblings, we love our mom so much. And I'm sorry if you guys are watching this, but this is just a deep thought of mine. Because we loved our mom so much, I felt like somehow life and time and events just played out that it was her time to go. And then because my father is still here, we are still learning to love him to the fullest. Like, we always will love him to the fullest, but I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say by this. Like, you know, we're still learning to know him as a person, because before we only knew him as obviously dad, but he was that person who took care of my mother and knew everything about her medication, and he was a great loving husband to her. So that's how we saw him as, and now that life played this way, like, we obviously learned how to cherish life so much more now, and we learned to come together as a family. And it's not perfect, I'm not telling you guys it is, but sometimes it's been challenging for me to stay positive. But I think the one thing that's keeping me going is the fact that other people went through this too. you know, and there are people who are going through worse things, which is a horrible way of putting it, but it's basically you're counting your blessings. And I think some of the last things that I want to mention in this vlog, just because I want to put it to a, not a close, but I want you guys to know, like, how my mother passed. It kind of puts me at ease a little bit. So basically, from what I heard from my family, a couple days before she did, she relied on an oxygen tank to live, and for the past like couple of days there was a huge fallout between my family, and I messaged my father. I was like, hey, like, just know that I'm here for you and I hope that everything's okay, but I overheard, like, you know, there's some things going on and I just want you to know that I'm here for you. And then my father told me, like, oh, you know, sorry, like, I was going through, like, I've just been so depressed thinking about everything and, you know, your mom's health and stuff like that. And at that point, I didn't really think much of it. I just thought, like, she was going through, like, another, she's been in the ICU in and out a couple times, so I just thought it was the same routine of her going in and then coming back out, which is horrible to think of. So then when I overheard that my dad got depressed, I felt really hurt and I knew something was up, hence why in the last vlog I mentioned about a family situation happening. So when she did arrive at the hospital, unfortunately, because I'm here in a different city, my siblings made a chat room, and then we basically talked about what if mom's vitals didn't go through, or what if she had a heart failure? Should we go for CPR or should we not? So then I told them, I was like, hey, like, from what I know, mom talked to me before and she said that she does not want to go through CPR. She just wants to be let go. And I've had this talk with her, like, probably last year before going fishing or something, or it was during, but we had a deep talk about, like, what if, and she told me, like, when she's gone, don't cry for her. Obviously that's inevitable, but the more I talk about it, the more I can come to terms with it, and hence why I can talk to you guys about it. I know some viewers are probably like, damn, like, this is pretty personal, it shouldn't be put in public like this, but for me, I think I've grown a thick skin enough where I'm just like, this is for those who are wondering, those who are just curious, and some are just kind of afraid or tiptoeing that subject around me, so I'm just clearing the air, and I know in the future I'm gonna want to watch this and know what happened if I somehow forgot. So this is basically, for me, it's a journal log, and I'm okay with putting this out there. But moving along, this happened, I think they messaged this, like, literally around, like, 6:30, and then, you know, my brother, he was just like, hey, we need to make a decision. We don't have to make a decision as a family yet. She's just in ICU. My mom's just, like, in ICU right now. We just have to decide within 2 hours if her heart does fail, what should we do? So I voted, you know, unfortunately we should follow her wishes and not do CPR, basically let her pass. So then not even an hour after, my sister messages the group and says she passed, and this happened at 7:04 on April 20th. And I literally was on my bed, you know, I couldn't, like, I felt broken. I didn't know what I could do. Like, as you guys know, like, yes, I do drive, but I don't have a car here. I can't really go bus to Hamilton because the go bus doesn't go to Hamilton. I'd have to take, like, a reroute, and obviously my family was on the way to see my mom. So I had no way of going there, so my only outlet was, like, luckily Turkey is still a good friend of mine. So I contacted him first and I told him what had happened. And what the nurse said was that somehow, as my mom had a oxygen mask, I think, don't quote me on this, but I think somebody, like a nurse, stepped out for a little bit just to, like, you know, fix their gown or whatever. And somehow my mom, because over the past few days she was breathing in her own carbon dioxide, she was hallucinating, she was in a lot of pain, somehow in her bed she took off her mask, laid it next to her, and then she peacefully passed. I don't want to break down on camera because Like, I don't want this to be a sad thing. But honestly, I just, like, I know I'm gonna keep going. And I am gonna keep thinking about her. Like, she has taught me so much, and she is like the strength of my life, like, even if she's not here. And I think one of the craziest things with that was that a couple of days ago, I dreamt about arguing with my sister. Sorry, I have to put that there. I dreamt that I was arguing with my sister about something. And I just felt like, you know, I can't really fully open myself up sometimes because I don't want people to see the weak side of me. So that hence why at night I pray to God and I talk to my mom. So in the dream, yeah, I had an argument, and then later somehow I went to the restroom. And then in the restroom, I saw my mom. Now the gnarliest thing is that I woke up right when I saw my mom, and I was really upset because every time I get to see my mom in my dream, it is honestly, I don't care what form it is. I don't care if it's a nightmare and she's in it. I just want to see her face again. So when I woke up, I was upset, went back to sleep, and the craziest thing is that the dream replayed. I kid you not, the dream replayed. I was arguing with my sister again, but I knew I was in a dream this time. So I just like left the argument. I went straight to the restroom, and my mom looked at me and she was just like, you know, I cried to her, and I'm like, I'm trying my best to be a backbone. I'm trying my best to be strong, but I just don't know how to do it. Like, I wish you were here, and I'm sorry. Like, I never opened up to you and all that stuff. And I just felt like lost. And then my mom just looked at me and she was like, you're doing good. So, like, it might sound crazy, but honestly, like, I'm just feeling for the people who went through such a huge loss in their life and yet they're still staying strong. And I want people to know that if you're feeling alone, if you're feeling like nobody's there, you are valid, you're human. It's okay to feel sad. That's what I'm learning. It's okay to feel sad, but also know that there are bigger and better things in the world. And, you know, grieving, crying is fine. But me, I'm the type where I love to look at the bigger picture, and that's what I want people to see, because I've been seeing on the news about, like, you know, stars committing suicide and stuff like that. That's a touchy subject, but I just wish, like, I could just give these people an outlook where they are so much more worth than what they think they are, and life will basically do your time. Life has a time and place. And this is another thing I thought about. Basically, life has a time and place. And what I mean by that is that I want everyone to trust their time in their life. And whatever time they give you, it shows you in that time. Look at where it places you in your life. I know, I'm going into a rant, but not a rant really, but like just talking. But I just want you guys to know that me and my family were doing fine. And it's just crazy this year because, like, literally, sorry, I'm like talking a lot, but it's just nuts because this year I think it really cleared my mind on how important life is, because not even nearly a month after another tragic event happened, and I'm gonna say it in a way where I respect the family, obviously, but basically my father got into a bad accident, and it was pretty bad. Luckily, it wasn't his fault, and I don't know what's going on in the future with this case, but my father miraculously was fine. He got hit pretty hard, and then unfortunately the person who was in the passenger with him was one of my mother's greatest friends. And unfortunately, she passed due to an internal bleeding. And, you know, like, I was thinking to myself, like, I felt guilty. And, you know, I felt sadness and angry. But at the same time, if I felt this way, what would that show and about my father? You know, like, my father would probably feel worse. So, life, man, like, a lot of stuff is gonna happen, but we just have to keep going. And I truly hope, like, I've reached out to one of the family members, and they've actually reached out to me asking, like, how visitations work and stuff like that. So I've let them know, like, everything is gonna be fine, and I'm here if they have any questions. And it's just nuts. The only silver lining is that my mom has her best friend with her now. It's just crazy to me how in a month's time almost, just so many people are losing their lives nearly every day, and it's nuts. But I just want everyone to know that they can still be strong, they can still keep going. Take some time for yourself, recollect, and think about what the person would want you to do at the moment. You know, like, I'm pretty sure they're in a better place, they're not in pain anymore, and they would want you to not be in pain as well. So anyways, I'm gonna wrap up this vlog. Quite a long one, quite personal, but I've always been like this from the get-go, from the beginning, and I don't want to change it for anything. And I know in the future I will thank myself for recording this sort of thing, and that's just who I am, you know. So I just hope that everybody is staying safe during this quarantine. Everybody is just mentally taking care of themselves, physically taking care of themselves, whatever it may be. Just know that we're all going through hard times, and I'm just someone who shares what's going on in my head. So anyways, I'm gonna probably edit this vlog, shoot it out the next time, and I'll catch you guys in a later vlog.